Welcome to another Storytime with AI. Today's story is titled The Blackwood Mansion Murder, an Ava Steele Mystery. Chapter 1. It was a cool autumn evening when Ava Steele arrived at the grand mansion on the outskirts of town. Ava had received a call from her old friend, billionaire businessman Edwin Blackwood. He was worried that someone was trying to harm him and had requested her assistance in investigating the strange occurrences that he had been experiencing. Ava promised to come and help as soon as possible. However, before Ava could arrive, the worst had happened. Edwin was found murdered in his grand mansion on the outskirts of town. Ava, now summoned to investigate the murder, made her way past the police officers cordoning off the area with yellow tape and into the house. She was greeted by the sight of Edwin's lifeless body, lying on the marble floor of the foyer. Ava's detective instincts kicked in as she surveyed the scene. The body had multiple stab wounds and there was no sign of forced entry. The room was in disarray with broken vases and overturned furniture. It was clear that a struggle had taken place. As Ava looked around the room, she noticed several possible suspects. There was Edwin's wife, who was standing in the corner of the room, looking pale and shaken. There was also Edwin's business partner, who was pacing back and forth, muttering to himself. And finally, there was the family's maid, who was standing off to the side, looking nervously at the body. Chapter 2. The Suspects. Ava knew that she needed to interview each of the suspects as soon as possible in order to get a better understanding of what had happened. She began with Edwin's wife, who was still visibly upset by the events of the evening. "I don't know what happened," she said, tears streaming down her face. "I was upstairs in my room when the attack occurred. I heard a commotion and came down to see what was happening, but it was too late." Ava's next interview was with the business partner, who seemed to be more composed than the others. He explained that he had been in the study when the attack occurred and had heard nothing until the screams of Edwin's wife. "Edwin and I had a disagreement earlier in the evening, but I would never kill him," the business partner said. Finally, Ava spoke with the maid, who had been working in the kitchen when the murder occurred. She explained that she had heard a commotion and had gone to investigate, but had been too afraid to enter the room where the murder had occurred. Chapter 3. The Evidence. As Ava delved deeper into her investigation, she found that the evidence was pointing in multiple directions. The fingerprints on the murder weapon matched those of the business partner, but he insisted that he did not commit the murder. The wife's fingerprints were also found on the weapon, but she claimed that she picked it up after the murder had occurred. Ava also found that Edwin had been receiving threatening notes prior to his death. The notes were unsigned, but Ava had a feeling that they were connected to the murder. Chapter 4. The Killer. Ava had collected all the evidence, interviewed all the suspects, and studied the crime scene, but she still couldn't figure out who the killer was. She had a hunch that the case was connected to Edwin's business dealings and decided to investigate further. Ava discovered that Edwin had been involved in illegal activities and had been using his business as a front for money laundering. She also found out that his business partner was aware of these illegal activities and had been trying to extort Edwin for a larger share of the profits. As Ava delved deeper into the case, she found that the business partner had a clear motive for murder. He had been arguing with Edwin the night of the murder and had no alibi for the time of the crime. Ava confronted the business partner with the evidence and he finally broke down, confessing to the murder. He had grown tired of Edwin's illegal activities and had decided to kill him in order to take full control of the business. Ava was relieved that the case had been solved and brought the killer to justice. She knew that Edwin's illegal activities would be exposed and his business would be shut down, but she was glad that the truth had finally been uncovered. Thank you for listening. This has been a production of Storytime with AI. Story written by ChatGPT. Illustrations were done by MidJourney. Narrated by Gary Brown.